Hello, this is Poo Noob, and today I have a guest. I'm interviewing Lucie from Sushee Studios.
Hi.
Hello, and they are currently developing two games, right? One is releasing today. Is it today or tomorrow?
Yes, it's today. Well, tonight for us, so in a few hours for
Nice,
PC.
right. So the two games are the one releasing tonight, as of this recording, is how do I pronounce it? Goetia?
This is the trick. So let's say Goetia, yes.
All right. Okay.
It's an enigmatic point in so you probably know already about it.
Okay. So, but the game that caught my eye was Fear Effect Sedna
Of course.
because I was a pretty huge fan of the first Fear Effect. So I was like, I didn't know that Square was doing it again. And I saw that you guys
Well,
are part
Square
of the
isn't
Square
really
Enix
doing it again.
Collective.
They call for studios to work on abandoned license,
Mm.
kind of.
You were saying Square is basically licensing out abandoned or dead IPs.
Yes, exactly. So they called for studios to have projects, and we had one, obviously, because some of us were quite fan of Fear Effect as well.
Right.
That was a long time ago, so we said, okay, let's make a brand new project about that.
All right. Nice. Um, so before we go into Fear Effect Setna, just to break the ice, what games have you been playing recently?
For me,
Yeah.
well, currently we try to do something on Dark Souls 3, but I'm not sure I'm patient enough to
Oh.
give it a hard try. And usually, well, it depends. At Sushi, we have a lot of multicultural players. Some are fans of JRPG. Others, like me, are more RPG, like I don't know, The Witcher or
Ooh, my
or
favorite
those
game of
kind of things.
2015.
Sorry?
My favorite game of 2015, The Witcher
Yeah,
3. So good.
I can understand. Or I'm a huge fan of Dragon Age as well, so we have
Oh yeah.
bilingual. Yeah. So, but it depends. We play a lot. I remember that we played a lot The Witness a few months ago. Or, well, we play quite everything that goes and catch our attention. So it depends.
So that's good. You guys still have time to play games because I've talked to a few indie developers. They always give me the same answer. They just don't have time, pretty much.
Well, we have a culture at Sushi that we have lunchtime, and lunchtime is always the time to play. And
Nice.
it's always the time to introduce games as well, and to each other in the team, and also to, yeah, just to share experience. So yeah.
So you guys are based in France, right?
Yeah, in Brittany, West.
So tell us a bit about the studio, Sushi. Like, how did
Sushi.
you guys meet and stuff? Like,
Ah.
how did it start?
Well, Benjamin could tell you more because it's basically his studio. He wanted always to make video games. And since, well, I think it's about 1 year ago now, we work on our own games, which was clearly the objective with Goetia and now Fear Effect. It's a quite small team, about around 10 people, depends on moment as well.
Oh, okay.
Um, and yeah, working on one project after another, and few internet projects as well, but that are secret for now. So we clearly focus on Fear Effect for now.
Right. And so tell us about both Goetia and Fear Effect. I guess let's start with the game that you're gonna release tonight.
So Goetia is a point-and-click adventure. If you remember, it's clearly inspired by the games we all loved when we were a bit younger, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
like Myst or Riven or Monkey Islands or those kind of things. So yeah, it's a classic point and a click. But you play Abigail, and Abigail is a really young girl uh, from England, from a traditional family. But the thing is, she died long time ago, and suddenly she wakes up. She's brought back in the living, and she doesn't understand why and where's her family. So the trick here is that you're a ghost. So when you traditionally have a point and click, you have inventories, but here you're a ghost, so you haven't any pockets.
Right.
But
Makes
this
sense.
yeah, makes sense. But you can possess objects and you can cross walls, which is quite
Nice.
cool. So the goal is to investigate about what happened to your family and what they were playing around with a lot of demons and well, quite enigmatic things around. Yeah, it's an investigation in a great manner and around in the forest, in the village, and yeah, it's a good game for patient players because we have about 20 hours to
Ooh,
play.
that's
If
a pretty
you
good
know
length.
the yeah, if you have the point and click logic, because we know some players that took a little bit more time,
Mm.
but we won't say who.
So I actually read up a bit of that about that game, and it reminds me a little bit of a 3DS game called Phantom Trick Ghost Detective, which you play as a ghost and you basically take over items pretty much. So it
Hmm.
reminded me of that a little bit. So that's
Oh,
cool. Um,
well, did you play the demo?
no. Oh, is there a demo? I didn't realize.
Yes, yes, there's a demo, but of course it was released months ago, so
Oh,
we have some bugs and we did some improvements as well on the gameplay. So, but yes, we had so. But anyway, it's released for public tonight, so
nice.
it will be better.
So how did you guys get the idea inspiration for Goetia?
Goetia was really born in Thibaut's mind. It's really his story. First of all, Thibaut is a lead artist at Sushee,
Right.
and he had this idea years ago.
Oh, nice.
Not really years ago, but well, let's say 2 or 3 years ago, yeah. First, he was doing kind of matte painting, but inspired by pictures, photographs. And he designed a manor called Muriel, and he met Benjamin, and they started to discuss about it. And Benjamin said, "Okay, it's time for us to create our own games. Let's start by this one." And then he integrated sushi, and yeah, that's
Ah,
what happened.
nice. Okay,
So the
so
project become to be a really team project.
right. So talk a little bit about Fear Effect Sedna.
Mhm.
Like, is it a direct sequel from the first two games?
I'm always a bit lost in the terms. It's an episode, and it's not Fear Effect 3, obviously, because Fear Effect 3 exists or kind of in the history of the characters, but it wasn't published. So yeah,
Right.
it's a bit secret here.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes place years after. And of course, we will have the pleasure to meet again all the team, Anna, Rain, Deke, and Glass, and new characters as well, because it's a brand new adventure.
So one of the things that made me very happy is you guys decided to keep it cell shaded.
Yes,
So
of course.
yeah, Fear Effect was probably the first cell shaded game that I played, and I pretty much fell in love with the cell shaded thing because of Fear Effect. So Was it an easy decision to make to go with cell shaded? Is that was that an instruction by Square, or was that just something that you guys wanted to give like the old fans?
To be really clear about that, Square has no involvement in the creative part.
Right.
They took the project because they said that they were convinced by our project, so that might have kept their attention. But the creative part is really ours. So it was an easy decision because we want to keep consistency with a lot of parts of Fear Effect,
Right.
but also to make a new game, which has John Platten said in his interview. I don't know if you already seen it. That will bring the characters to a new legion of fan, and that's exactly the idea behind it.
So, was it easy designing the overall themes, art, and sound? Because I'm guessing you wanted to put in a little bit of your own creative input versus just borrowing from the original titles, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, were
Um,
there any obstacles, you think?
no, I don't think so. I think that we can do something that could really bring back the memories we all have. And sometimes it's not exactly the truth about a game we played 15 years ago. But the strongest parts, the characters, the story. Sorry.
I don't know if it's Skype. It's probably Skype.
Yeah, probably, but well, at least they left us 10 minutes, so
Oh yeah,
let's bring back.
right. You were saying about the creative input and creative direction of Fear Effect Sedna.
Yes, I can't remember what I was saying.
Juggling just borrowing from the original titles versus having your own creative input. I asked if there was any obstacles.
No, I don't think there are really obstacles. Of course, we have to stay consistent and true to the original game, especially on characters and story.
Mm-hmm.
But also to make it nice for fans nowadays or people that never played to Fear Effect.
Right.
So yeah, it's a balance. It's not easy to do because it asks a lot. We have a lot of questions, of course, but it's really interesting because as we ask ourselves how to do the things, clearly we think about everything, and we can be sure of all our choices, and that's the really important thing in making a game.
Right. Um, was there any juggling involved? Because um, most indie studios are small. You guys are 10 people strong. Was there any juggling involved because of Goetia and Fear Effect Sedna coming into the picture at the same time?
Um, no, there are two really different projects, and projects that we both love. And but the development of Goetia is finished since a while. We were just debugging the
Right.
thing, but it's not really exactly. It's not the same thing at all.
Mm.
Goetia is completely ours. We were not expected on this project. Fear Effects is, yeah, it's well known. We There's a community, there are fans, so yeah, it's completely different.
So, what made you guys decide to go with a real-time tactical strategy game rather than the third-person, like the old school Fear Effect games?
Well, we all love the fixed cameras,
Oh yeah.
with Resident Evil and such
Yeah.
things. But to be honest, it's a bit tricky to play it nowadays.
Right.
I don't know if you tried to play again Fear Effect, especially on other kind of devices.
I don't dare to try.
It's a bit difficult. But yeah, it's a choice we wanted to make because we think that it totally works, especially in terms of strategy and team organization. It's a really nice gameplay to focus on having characters that have strengths and weakness that are completely different, and to be able to have the complete leadership on each one of them and make it work together. So yeah, that's what we wanted. Of course, it's not exactly the Fear Effect that you all remember, but I think that's completely consistent with the atmosphere we will bring to Fear Effect Sedna.
Oh, I apologize. I totally forgot to ask. What's your role in the studio? So excited for Fear Effect. Totally forgot.
Don't worry. I'm the ghost of Sushee. Currently, I'm taking care of a bit of communication on the Kickstarter as well. And I will be really honored to work with Jonzo Platten on writing the scenario. So that's why I always speak a lot about the story.
Right. So Kickstarter, was it terrifying to go into Kickstarter?
Um,
I'm guessing
yes,
this is your first time?
no, that's the second time because
Oh,
we did
second time.
for Goetia as well.
Ah, right.
Um, and yeah, I remember that it was last year between January and February, and once we closed the successful Kickstarter campaign for Goetia, we said, okay, never again. And this happened again. So, yeah, well, for indies, Kickstarter is quite a great thing to be able to develop great projects and to finance the development of it. So, yeah, it's really important. And it's really stressful as well. But at that point, it leads us to meet the community, speak with people, guess, well, to receive all opinions, comment, feedbacks, and it's really, really instructive and really, yeah, a rich experience. So that's great. It's a tough time, but yeah, that's great.
Right. So both Goetia and Fear Effect Sedna is being backed by the Square Enix Collective.
Yeah.
So are there any differences between the two Kickstarters, do you think?
Oh, yes, because the projects are really not the same. As I said, we were not expected on Goetia. It was our own project, and we catch the attention of Square Enix Collective on, and we had really great feedback on their platform. So that was really, really great. Fear Effect is different because they were asking studios for building some projects about around these licenses. So it's not exactly sorry, it's not exactly the same, and of course, the amount is not the same as well.
Right.
Fear Effect is kind of bigger project, or at least Goetia, we had not the same amount of development on it.
Yeah, but currently at the time of this recording, with 29 days left to go, you guys are at 38.5% of your 100,000 goal, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's nice, but we also have stretch goals and we would
Right.
like to shoot up the Kickstarter campaign, so it's stressful anyway.
Yeah.
And
Um,
yeah, but it's really encouraging, and we're really happy to have all the support of a really great community. And we met a lot of really nice people, so yeah, that's cool.
so I'm gonna I think I'm gonna say something that the gaming community, we like Kickstarters, but sometimes we're a bit wary because sometimes they're asking too much, we feel, sometimes they're not asking enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you reach your 100,000 goal, is that enough to make the game?
Um,
In my mind, is not.
um, yes and no. It will be enough to support the development, but not to really add all the projects we want to. But anyway, with that, we can ensure the development of the game, and we said that the game will be released in 2017,
Oh, okay.
and we wrote it and we will do it. If the Kickstarter is successful, there is no doubt about that. It will not be in 10 years because we have not enough money. It's
Right.
planned. So, yeah, no worries. That's a cool thing of having done already another game and another Kickstarter campaign, even if it was not the same game at all. We know and we have experienced that. And yeah, we really honest about that. We plan to release it next year, and it will be done if we have a successful Kickstarter campaign.
That's a pretty fast development time.
Yeah.
Um,
um,
so, so
but
yes.
if we have those kind of budgets for an indie studio, we first of all we have a lot of the ideas, and we want to create as much projects as we.
Oh no. Lucy's down for the count.
Yay.
It's fine.
Uh,
We're reaching like the second third of the interviews. We're almost done. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying that Indians always have a lot of projects and want to, yeah, to create a lot of other kinds of games. So
Right,
having a development for years is not really interesting for us.
right. So yeah, Square Enix Collective, which is a pretty cool thing. I really like the idea. Um, so my understanding of it is Square Enix Collective. Square Enix won't really fund the video games, but they will help a ton in marketing it.
Yeah, exactly. They are a great help to indies because we know how to develop and to imagine games. But communication and
The
just,
business side of it.
yeah, the business side is really another work, and it's very cool to have the experience of Square Enix Collective, which is really, really a nice and great team. They are really always close to in this team, and they're really helpful. They We met them last week again at Dresde in London, and yeah, it's really, really nice to have their opinion on a lot of things, and we're still really free on the creative part, so that's really comfy for indies, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, that's a great project. I know that it wasn't really easy for them to explain what they were doing,
Oh
but
yeah.
I think it's coming step by step
Right.
because Square Enix Collective is really different from Square Enix, so it's not the same goal at all.
Yeah, I think there's a misconception about Square Enix Collective not wanting to fund and asking the fans to fund their games, which is totally not true. So how did you guys get the Fear Effect license? Was there like a did they request a few studios to come up with ideas and then they like just chose the best, or did
Yeah,
they go to you straight?
no, I think we were several, but I don't have the details to be honest,
All right,
and I don't think we will have it. But no, we were not the only one.
right.
And that's a cool thing because our project was selected, so
Oh yeah, super cool. S- So with your studio is very interesting because this is your second game being backed by Square Enix Collective.
yeah.
Um, do you notice a difference between Goetia and Fear Effect Sedna in terms of their involvement, or is it
About
totally the same?
About a collective team?
Yeah, because Fear Effect is their IP, so maybe they will want to be a little bit more involved.
No, not at all. So for us, it's really the same. We know them for a good time now, and no, it's they're as helpful as they were in Goetia, and no, that's totally the same.
Right.
For us, it's exactly the same.
So is Goetia your first release as a studio? Oh no, down again. Just a couple more questions. So I'm just gonna repeat the question again. Um, if I can remember it. Uh,
It was the difference between Goetia and Fear Effect for the collective part.
it was a new question actually.
Oh,
Okay, so uh, is Goetia the first game that Sushee is releasing under the Studio Sushee?
yes, exactly.
Right. So does any of your team members have experience like self-publishing the games, like self-publishing any games before?
Uh, no, not self-publishing, but we all work on video games, and they are all experienced developers or
Right.
designers, so that's okay. And of course, Sushi designed and created and developed games for others. But yeah, it was not our project, so that's the difference.
Right. Um, did you guys do any marketing prior to working with Square Enix Collective on Goetia?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your
Oh,
question.
did you guys do any marketing prior to working with Square Enix Collective on Goetia? Marketing
Uh,
for Goetia, I mean.
the marketing is done by Square Enix Collective.
Oh, so there was
Um,
no marketing before Collective?
no,
Right.
we just did some few things on social networks and whatever, but yeah, the team is clearly focused on creating and developing the team, so that's not really the job here.
Right. So so technically, from what I understand about Square Enix Collective, technically any indie developer can submit their game to Square Enix Collective to be filtered, right?
To the platform, yes.
To the platform, yes. So what would be your advice for indie developers thinking of going into Square Enix Collective? Like, I think I think the most important question for me would probably be how far do you think your game need to be before you apply for Square Enix Collective? Like how far along the development do you think?
Um, I'm not sure I can answer to this question, but um, I could say that you have to be true to your project, to have a solid team as well,
Right.
and to have really projects that are not copy or too close to other games already released.
Right.
So a bit of creativity and originality is cool. I don't think they select a type of game because clearly Goetia was really different from other games selected. And at Rest in London, we were on Square Enix Collective stand with four other games that were really different from each others, and that makes really sense because it's indie,
Right.
so we can create the games we want and the gameplays we want. So
Right.
creativity is really the central point here.
Right. Cool. And that was the final question. Hooray!
Oh,
So yeah.
we survived to Skype. That's cool.
Yes. So Lucy, you're the first person I interviewed for this new thing I'm trying out.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
thank
So
you very
it went
much
a lot.
for spending time with me.
Thank you for your question.
I'm seriously looking forward to Fear Effect Sedna.
Okay, thank you for your support.
All right. So yeah, tell the good people where can they go to support Sushee and Fear Effect Sedna. Like, where do you want people to know where you guys are?
Well, always on Kickstarter, so if you
I'll put the
should.
link in the description.
Oh, that's nice, really. Thank you.
Welcome. So, are you guys active on Facebook or Twitter or anywhere?
Yes, we are. I think that I sleep 3 or 4 hours per night, so you can always find us on Facebook, on Fear Effect Sedna, and Twitter as well on Fear Effect.
Right. And the studio also have their own social media, right?
Yes, at Sushee with 2E
Two
and
E.
on
Yes.
Facebook and Twitter as well. So, yeah.
Right. I'll just put a bunch of links at the description, so audience
Okay, thank you.
audience take a look for yourself. Right. So yeah, thank you very much for the great interview.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Right. It was a pleasure for me too. Right.
Okay,
Talk to you again, Lucie.
goodbye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.